Hey there, I'm Daria and you're watching the Movavi vlog, your go-to channel for creating cool videos. Let's talk about perspective today, what types of perspective there are and why taking them into account is useful while shooting. We've added the timecodes for your convenience. They'll pop up here and in the description. But before we get started, we advise you to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to be the first to find out about our new episodes and upcoming challenges. Any image like a picture, a photograph, a video is two-dimensional, flat. To make your image look more 3D and to add some depth, use your knowledge of frame perspective. Linear perspective. Let's begin with linear perspective. It's called this because it's shot so that there are lines receding into the distance and converging on a single point. A building, fence, bridge, river, road, or anything else will do here. And if you're shooting at home, you can use bookshelves, wardrobe, and walls. Check out the way this artistic technique was used in the movie The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Do you see the way all the lines of the hallway converge into a single point? To create linear perspective, we need an appropriate angle, just like we have here, see? Now the picture looks pretty flat. Let's change the angle and now it looks more interesting already. Sometimes if you set the camera at the low point, it works too. It turns out nice among buildings. You shouldn't neglect the optics though. It can create perspective out of nowhere, but wide-angle lenses with a focal length under 50 mm will enhance the perspective, just like here. Telephoto lenses with the focal length over 100 mm may reduce the perspective. By the way, we already talked about focal length in one of our previous episodes. Check it out in the description. Curvilinear perspective. It's also called spherical perspective. If you are already familiar with a fisheye lens, chances are you've seen spherical perspective. Such lenses are far less popular with experts than they were 10 years ago, but the majority of action cameras are still equipped with these lenses. Because of the space distortion, the picture gets more voluminous as things get in the frame. It's as if there was some peripheral vision, just like in real life, which creates the effect of being there. Quite an unusual and rather unexpected case of its application was in the movie called The Favorite. After all, the first-person shooting, like the way sportsmen do, is sort of more common. We also sometimes make fun shooting with our GoPro and a fisheye lens, and here is something to prove it. Tonal and aerial perspective. Tonal perspective is achieved by muffling object contrast as objects become further away. Let's consider some examples, shall we? Just look out the window. Unless it's your neighbor's window that is just opposite yours. In this case, the experiment is going to fail. As you can notice, the farther away the objects are from us, the more pale they appear, while the closer they are, the darker and more contrast they seem. Aerial perspective is created by making the contour less clear and the color less saturated, as the objects get more distant from the viewer. A vivid example would be a painting. As you see, whatever is in the foreground is clear, contrast, bright and detailed. However, what's in the background is nearly colorless and barely discernible. As an artistic technique, tonal perspective can be viewed in the movie The Mirror by Andrei Tarkovsky. You might have got confused since tonal and aerial perspective are commonly treated as one and the same, but if you want to nerd out, these are two different phenomena. When it comes to tonal perspective, it's mainly about color and contrast, while aerial is also about sharpness. But if you don't want to dwell on the definitions, these types of perspective can be achieved while shooting in the rain, snow, fog, or in the smoke and dust. In the end, it looks really spectacular, however, it's harder to get the right weather conditions. Thus, we end up with a few more ways of creating the volume effect in a flat frame. Through object contrast, which is characteristic of linear perspective, and through scenery contrast, which is characteristic of tonal perspective. All in all, fall and winter are great seasons to use tonal and aerial perspective while shooting outdoors. Fog and snowfall are there for you, but be ready for shooting in the cold for extended periods. Here is our episode on shooting in winter that'll be helpful for this purpose. If you don't feel like getting cold though, linear perspective is a great tool for your indoor shooting. Hopefully we managed to be some sort of inspiration for you today. By the way, speaking of artistic techniques, which ones do you want to learn more about? Let us know in the comments to this video. If you've got any questions left, feel free to ask them in the very same comments below this video. Hopefully the topic turned out useful for you. If so, make sure to like this episode, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell button to stay tuned and not to miss anything. See ya!